Me and my pa, we live in Moonshine, Holler. Just about 10 miles from nearest dirt road. One bright, dark, early morning, I said to Pa, Pa, let's go a larping and a tarping and a coonskin hunting down in Moonshine, Holler. Well, he asked me, well, he didn't care. So we called up all the dogs except old Shorty, then we called him up too. Well, we started out hunting and we went way out in the flat and up on the mountain and way down the valley. And them dang dogs treed up a hickory black gum sapling about 10 feet above the ground. I told Paul I reckon I'd go up and shake him out if he didn't care. He asked me, he didn't care. So I climbed up in that tree and I commenced to shaking, and the limb I was standing on broke, and I fell face planters, flat on my back in a 10-foot gully, briar patch right in the middle of the rough dog. I messed up a little, Doug. You're kind of critiquing me. When I finally come to the right mind, I asked Paul to shake him off and he didn't care. Well, he asked me, well, he didn't care, so he shook all of them off except old Shorty, and he shook him off too. Well, we left on hunting and we went way down the valley, way up on the high ridge. And them our dogs, they treed in a huckleberry log about 2 feet through its little end. Told Paul I reckon I'd chop him out if he didn't care. He asked me, he didn't care. So I got that chopping axe and I commenced to chopping, and I cut off old Shorty's long black tail right up above his ear. Pretty dirt, my dog. And I told him I'd had enough hunting for today, so we started back home. And we went back off the mountain up on the ridge and got there in the cornfield in the pumpkin patch. And looked out there and all of our darn pigs was out. I grabbed up on them pigs with a tail and I just threw it at the pen. It made my pa so mad he talked to me like a red-headed stepdaughter. He said, son, go and fetch me a bucket of slop. Well now, it was when I was down there slopping them hogs that made me think about my gal Sal. Now Sal lives in Moonshine Holler on 14th Street. The further you get, the rougher it gets, and she lives in the very last house. Well, being Sunday like, I told Paul I reckon I'd ride if he didn't care. He asked me, he didn't care. So I put the bridle on the horse and the saddle, and he got on, and I took off down the road. And I was riding that horse down the road just as pretty as you please, when a stump run out in front of it. And I fell, face planters, flat on my back in a 10-foot gully to briar patch right in the middle of the road. I brushed the horse off, he got back on, and I started on down the road. And there's a long straight stretch with a hairpin curve in it, and I can see Sal's house. Sal's house, a big white house, painted green. And before I got there, I could tell she was glad to see me. She had all the windows nailed down and the door shut wide open. And I went in and threw my hat in the fire and spit on the bed. And I said, hi, Sal. And she said, hello, Charles. And she was there by herself, just me and her. And we sat on this little bit of chair with a great big long arm. And we talked about government and politics and other kind of ticks. And she said, Charles, let's go down to the apple orchard and pick some plums to make a cherry pie. Well, she asked me, well, I didn't care. So we took off down the road. I was walking to her just as close as I could, me in one ditch and her in the other. And we got down there in that apricot orchard, and I climbed up that pear tree to shake off some plums. And the limb I was standing on broke, and I fell right astraddle of a barbed wire fence with both feet on the same side. Tore the whole sleeve out of my Sunday go to meeting breeches. And I told Sal, I said, Sal, I'm not coming back to Moonshine Holler again. And I hadn't too many times since. Have you ever heard that before? Okay, I thought